This is our new building. It's called the Construction Training and Education Center. It's a building that we built with the trainees in our training program. We do construction around Delaware. We do low-income house restoration, and we do commercial buildings, millwork for restaurants and contractors and nonprofits and that kind of thing. So this is the inside of the Construction and Training Center. This is a building that was built by our trainees. We started this 4 years ago. We designed a green building with a lot of recycled materials. Some of the recycled materials include the flooring. There's tile flooring that's made out of ingrained blocks. All of the wood in the building's recycled materials, recycled wood. There is the daylighting with the sawtooth. We kind of borrowed from the vernacular of the architecture on the riverfront and took some of the sawtooths and put them into this building, which makes a great daylighting feature for the shop. And as you can see, we don't have lights on right now. We don't really ever turn them on during the day. The steel was all fabricated just up the street, and it's all out of recycled content to the steel. And the kids put the steel together using sort of an erector set with bolted connections. There are no welded connections, so they could choose the brackets and identify which bracket goes with which beam and put them together with the bolts, do all the bolting themselves. So the construction was done entirely by our trainees, entirely on site. We have a lot of competition for the spots that we have, and the kids that we take in, the trainees, girls and boys, men and women, that we take in are competent. They're intelligent, and they have a lot to offer. What they have is often have a hard time prioritizing their life and dealing with all the little things to allow them to get to work and to get through the sort of things that we take for granted, the ability to get places, transportation, having a support system. And a lot of these guys you find just have none of that. Our biggest accomplishment will be getting them in their lives stable enough that work can be the priority and not just dealing with an everyday existence, which is really what big part of the problem is. One of our main projects is a rail car that we're restoring. It was a rail car that was built here in 1889 by the Jackson and Sharp Company, and we're doing a restoration of that rail car. So this is the interior of the rail car. The rail car, all the millwork was done here on the site. A lot of the woods that you see is reclaimed wood. We used a lot of old reclaimed yellow pine for the floor and for the vertical window posts. There's a lot of poplar that was used in there, and all these things were milled on site and installed by our trainees. The point of the recreation is to interpret the history. It's not to salvage an artifact. And so while we use a lot of the original pieces, we're building something that really interprets how it was originally built and the historical importance to Delaware and to Wilmington of that building process. There are several public museums and public organizations that work with kids that are looking for a place to put the rail car. We're going to put it undercover, build a pavilion for it, and open it up so kids can come in and learn a little bit about what we did in the construction of the car, but also have a really neat space to learn in. We have the capacity to do very high-end work. We have some very accomplished craftspeople on staff, and we have work with materials. We have a kind of state-of-the-art shop, and so we will take on any kind of job that works for us and is labor-intensive and the trainees can be involved in. The only thing that people have to understand about working with us is that we work on a time frame that allows us to teach while we work. So if the time frame, it doesn't have to be done yesterday, we can take on anything, and we have. Having them work on these projects is the carrot that keeps them coming back. And we've got a lot of people around, clients, the Children's Museum and folks at the Buccini-Paulin Group and nonprofits in Delaware. We've done stuff for the Center for Horticulture and the Delaware Nature Society that allow us to build really neat buildings, really neat projects. And the kids have a real sense of accomplishment. And that is the carrot that keeps them coming to the program and allows us the time and the flexibility to put together the infrastructure behind each trainee that will allow them to be successful going on.